Hey friends, today we are in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, a town built on healing water. So Eureka Springs is actually known as the town that water built because people in 1879 flocked to this area on horseback, in wagons, or even on foot, especially people that were invalids or had special afflictions, because they truly believed that these springs were miraculous healing waters. Okay friends, here we are at Magnetic Spring. And the legend with this place is that any metal object that you place in the spring will become magnetized. What do you think, Michelle?
I don't know.
Now, the first time Michelle did that, she said she felt a little something. What was that?
I felt a little pulse.
Whoa.
It wasn't electric. It was just a little tingling, like ding.
Magnetic Spring. Now, this, of course, also had healing properties that would cure drug addiction and
Or believed to be.
cure the disabled, basically. Here it is. Magnetic Spring, one of the famous springs of Eureka. Okay, so is that the only thing you have that's metal?
Yeah, the keys are it, and we're not really sure how metal they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
So far, it didn't really work.
No, I don't really believe all the legend.
Don't get
The fob in.
the fob, please. Yeah.
All right, well, maybe you have to place it in there like for a month or something.
Maybe so.
Month of Sundays. Well, we'll let you know. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Let's see, this actually used to be a basin. I think the water would come into this. Magnetic Spring is just one of over 60 springs in Eureka Springs city limits alone. Some of these are on private property, but many of them you're able to get to. One of the most famous, Basin Spring. Okay, we're here at Basin Spring right now, and it is a legendary Indian healing spring known to Native Americans in the heart of Eureka Springs. This is actually where Eureka Springs was named back in 1879. According to historians, in the early 1800s, the Osage tribe would bathe in the waters, saying it contained healing spirits. After the Native Americans were forced out of the area, years later, Dr. Alva Jackson rediscovered the springs with his son. His son had an eye irritation, and he used the spring to heal his son's eyes. And here is Basin Park. The Basin Spring was thought to be one of the most healing springs in the area, and it's probably the most famous. And you do see a little bit of water in there. There it is. See if I can get inside it. There it is. Go ahead and put my hand in there. Okay, I just washed my hands with that healing water. I'll keep you posted. This photograph was taken at this exact spot in 1879. The man with the rifle is Dr. Jackson himself. Doc Jackson later went on to bottle this miraculous cure and call it Dr. Jackson's eye water. Basin water has made 90% of the cures of Eureka.
Apparently, it's very important for all to bathe regularly and often, especially invalids who frequently experience as much benefit from bathing in as from drinking the water from our famous springs. Accommodation can be found for hot, cold, shower, vapor, and electric baths. This is from a souvenir book in the early 1890s.
Baths are important. And a little further down Spring Street, here is Harding Spring. Harding Spring is known as the site of one of the most famous healings in Eureka Springs. A 21-year-old Jenny Cowen had been blind for 7 years following a severe illness. Jenny used the waters of Basin Spring for several months to no avail. She then began using the waters of Harding exclusively. And on August 22nd, 1880, her sight was restored. Her exclamation, "I can see," created an enormous sensation among the many people visiting Eureka Springs, seeking the benefits of these healing waters. And all these old buildings have hints of the past. And here we are at Sweet Spring. And a lot of these springs are a little underwhelming, considering some of the springs that we've taken you to on Magician Word, including Big Spring, the biggest spring in Missouri. But these are literally trickles. But I guess a trickle is all you really need if the water heals.
I wonder where the water goes.
There's actually a cool air blowing out from this little crevice. And the early townspeople named this Sweet Spring because they said it had a pleasant, sweet taste. So we're going to put it to the test right now. Gonna fill me up. Well, as good as any bottled water. Well, I wish I'd seen this a little earlier. You could just imagine this building behind me in 1901. This would be quite a fancy building. But driving around these back roads, you see all kinds of amazing architecture and living and nature all mixed together. Here it is right here. I think this is Cave Spring right here. Okay, we're at Cave Spring, right across this street over here. No place to park. It's really drops off on both sides of the road, like it does on every road in this little town. But here we are at Cave Spring. And there it is. I guess because it comes from that cave right there. It's got gates on it. This is Cave Spring. Michelle and I both commented how much fun it is to go from spring to spring like a scavenger hunt. I feel like if it wasn't for the legends of this healing waters in this area, these areas would be destined to be wilderness. But they come and settle in the harshest of environments, on the edges of these mountains. And here we are at Little Eureka Spring, probably about as underwhelming of a spring as you could possibly hope for. Let's taste this water. Tastes good. It looks like at one time you were able to actually drink from the spring, but this does no longer work. A lot of these springs are really hidden. You need to take a map with you. This is our last day out here in Eureka, and we're still finding springs. If you're enjoying this video, I've got a whole nother video on Eureka Springs, touching on the nightlife and attractions of this beautiful city. And here we are at Laundry Spring. The town's first government passed an ordinance to protect all the springs in about 1880. The ordinance number 10, section 2, all persons washing their persons or clothes in or above the basins of all public springs shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. It gets its name because the local townspeople would use the water to do their laundry. That makes sense. Here is Mystic Spring. And here's the Gadd Spring Inn. There is a spring here, which we were not able to locate because it's private property. It's probably right back there in this rock right here. That it could be it right there, actually coming out of the. I bet that's it right there. Gadd Spring right here, right at the Gadd Spring Inn. Even today, this eclectic little town seems to provide healing and relaxation for all who come here. If you'd like to see more on the accommodations, attractions, and architecture of this sweet little town, check out my other video right here. In this new video, we visit America's most haunted hotel, the Crescent. Be sure and smash that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Some unusual Crescent Hotel cocktails. This is called the Autopsy.